And a thank you to my colleagues. What a wonderful hour of discussion on a very important piece of legislation, making the state of Wisconsin a tax-free retirement state. Incredibly simple to understand, incredibly simple to communicate to our constituents, and incredibly helpful to hundreds of thousands of retirees in the state of Wisconsin. Now, it's been mentioned throughout this discussion, so I'll just touch on it quickly. But the state of Wisconsin is an exporter of wealth. 30% of Wisconsin's wealth is retained in individuals over the age of 70. 30%. And our tax policy drives them to live in other places other than Wisconsin. You know, one of the things when you're a lead author of a bill, you have individuals and organizations from around the state and even around the nation who contact you to kind of let you know about their thoughts and their input. And I received one that I won't forget, a CPA who works here in Wisconsin, and he told me, hey, just so you know, when you pass this, if this becomes law, I'm going to have to change quite a bit of the way that I talk about retirement to senior citizens. I said, well, tell me what that means. He said, every time I go through this process of individuals who are turning 65, I provide them a list of the 13 states that don't tax retirement. And I tell them it is in your best interest to move to one of these 13 states, and when you turn 80, come back, because Wisconsin has a far better health care system for senior citizens. Can you imagine that? CPAs from around the state of Wisconsin who are actively encouraging our retirees to move out of the state of Wisconsin. Those discussions and anecdotes that were referenced here are not just that. They are fiscal, responsible decisions that are being communicated to our seniors. The second issue is the loss of that wisdom, that volunteerism that exists within all of our communities as a result of our retirees. They are the ones who do the after-school reading programs, those that volunteer at our churches, our nonprofits. And I don't have to look any further than my own parents who live in my community, active with the Howard Swamico Historical Society, active with the church. And they even go to the public roundabouts in my community to trim the shrubs and clean up the trash. Now, that's not something that's required. It's something that they do out of the goodness of their heart, and it happens. Those types of volunteerism exist throughout the state of Wisconsin. We want to have people engage in their communities in all different ways like that. And third, is there ever been a better time to provide tax relief to our seniors? Where grocery bills have increased by over 20%, higher fuel, higher housing. We have been blessed through great fiscal discipline and policy to have an opportunity to do something great. And as had been mentioned, the silence on the other side of the aisle on this bill has been deafening. And I think there may be several reasons. One is, I just can't imagine sitting across from a senior citizen constituent and say, I know that you sometimes are cutting your pills in half. I know that there are some times when you're thinking, should I just turn down the heat a couple more degrees? And I know you may think that that $1,582 you could get every year is a good idea. But boy, do I have a brand new government program that you're going to be excited about. I just tend to think that that would fall a little flat. Maybe it's also because this bill has bipartisan support. I'm thankful for that. I'm sad to see that one of my co-sponsors on the Senate side Democrat. She obviously left to become a Milwaukee judge, so I can understand her not being able to continue her support. You know, Governor Evers had mentioned that this is one of the policy items that he was actually very open to, and perhaps that's the reason for the silence on the other side of the aisle. You know, Oscar Wilde once said that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Well, the lady from the 23rd, with the introduction of her bill, that is a form of tax-free retirement, is such an imitation. So the Democrats have proposed a form of tax-free retirement. But guess who gets it? State government employees. State government employees only. So if you worked hard, saved $20 a week for your entire life and worked at the Burger Barn, you're not going to benefit. You save $40 a week having worked at the Quick Trip, you don't get the benefit. $60 a week being an auto worker, a steam fitter, or an operating engineer, you don't get the benefit. Only state government employees. And unlike our proposal, which has a cap of $150,000, do you know what the cap is for state retirees? $270,000 per retiree. Now, I'm trying to listen to the governor. The governor put a limit of $150,000 on it. I mean, even my first proposal wasn't that rich. So I'm hopeful that that expression of imitation was a sign of awareness, intent, that this is where we need to go as a state. Being a tax-free retirement state will benefit hundreds of thousands of our greatest assets here in Wisconsin, our senior citizens who are living on a fixed income. We have an opportunity to make a big difference in a lot of people's lives at a critical time.